Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to do a little cutting some hay, and it's late in October, and typically you don't like cutting hay this late because it's very hard for it to dry, and lately we have been having nothing but rain here like the last month. It's like the jet stream hasn't moved at all. It's literally hovering right over us, and it's making doing any kind of harvest in the fall, whether it's beans, hay, or whatever, a little hard to do this year. And I usually don't like cutting hay or baling hay in October. I like to do it the last cutting in like September or early part of October. However, like I said, it's been just raining out all the time, and I have no choice. And your window of opportunity is very small. You only have like about 3 days before it's supposed to rain again. So it's going to be very difficult to do. I'm not small square baling any of this, so it's going to be a little bit easier for me. I'm just going to round bale it, and round baling is easier. Round baling also, you don't have to have it as dry because it will cure inside the bale. All you have to do is just leave it outside, let the wind get at it, and it'll be okay. You can bale round bales between 30 and 35%, and you'll still be okay. You might have a few little wet spots in there, but for the cattle, it's not for horse hay, it's just for cattle. And the cattle, like I said, that we have, we're gonna say hi to Scarlett and Louie. As you can see, they're pretty content. And obviously, Louie likes giving kisses again. You're just a nuthead. Yes, you are. Say hi to the camera. No? No. Look at that. You're such a good boy. Pretty boy. So are you, Scarlett. Louie. Okay, so what we are going to do, we're going to unhook the baler from the tractor, and then we're going to hook up the disc bind. And I will kind of explain the disc bind to you a little bit. A disc bind is different than a sickle mower. As you can tell, it has individual discs on it. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And inside each one of those things, they're called turtles, there's a gearbox. And they turn, each turn counterclockwise and clockwise, as you can see that. So they go in different directions, and the knives are shaped or in a position to go in a different way, and that's how it cuts. As you can tell, they alternate. So the reason for that is if they turn the same way, they would just hit. The blades would hit each other, and it would just torque, or it would just wipe them out, either break the blades or break the gears that are in there. Those gears are a few $100s a piece, so they're not cheap. Disc binds are great if you have gopher mounts. They're really good for that. They'll chew them right up. Sickle mowers, not so much. Sickle mowers will probably plug up, but you can plug up a disc bind. I've done it, and they're good, but they can plug up. Okay, so let's unhook them. Whenever I plug in my hydraulic hoses, I always like to clean them off. I kind of don't like the dirt getting in the hydraulic fluid system. There are filters there, I understand that, but I like to have it as clean as possible. I don't like to have problems later on. Problems later on kind of suck. Okay, we're about ready to go. Oh, and I forgot to apologize on the first video I had, the intro. Have no idea why the sound was crackling. It could be crackling right now. Haven't quite figured it out. Again, a little trial and error, but we'll have to figure it out sooner or later. Otherwise, it's not really working out well. How you doing, Scarlett? Doing okay? Okay, we'll talk to you in a bit. Between 5 and 6 miles an hour. Right now I'm going a little faster. There we go. See, with the disc bind you could really go a lot faster than you can with a sickle. Some people like to go fast, some people like to go slower. This is just the way I like to do it. Every once in a while you'll see an eagle come up from the river. That's pretty cool. But typically, a lot of hawks. The hawks will fly around, see the mice, swoop down, pick them up. It's pretty cool, very efficient. And then when you're baling hay, they sit up on top of a round bale, and they're just scoping everything out. Just waiting for the next mouse or whatever they're looking at to come out. They just swoop down and they grab it. Pretty impressive. What everything looks like from the back. This is basically my vantage point. Now this hay is not that tall. A lot of my fields, they act more or less like a buffer, because this is on a hill. It's a contoured field. It's only about 3 acres. So what they do is they just help stop the rain from coming down the hill. Just slows it down a little bit so it doesn't create as many washouts. Quite a few fields that are contoured, and they're typically 3, maybe 8 acres. They're small. It takes a lot of time for you to cut them because they're so small. Every time you take a corner, it takes you time to accomplish the task. Whether you're cutting hay, whether you're doing any kind of tillage. It takes time every time you have to turn a corner. A lot of guys, that's why you see big fields, 100 acres or whatever. Back in the day, that could have probably been 5 or 10 fields. Nowadays, everyone makes them big. A couple of reasons. One is so that you don't have so many turns. The other is you only get to the field one time or a couple of times versus going back there multiple times. They have to drive 15, 20 miles to a field. It's kind of nice that they just go to the field, dig it up, plant it, whatever they're planting it with, and it saves them a lot of time. The smaller fields, let's say it's a little old school. Like I said, they do it for a lot of the erosion to prevent it. They serve a purpose, don't get me wrong. If I had my way, yeah, I'd have nothing but large fields, but our farm is not quite set up like that. It's on a lot of hills. Oh, Gopher Mountains. Not too bad. Oh, I see a hawk ahead of us. Just swooped down, got it sprayed. There isn't much here, but I have to get as much as I can for my 3 head of cattle, my big herd. Gotta find a mount. Just hanging on to the camera, steering, hitting the hydraulic levers, shifting every once in a while. Not that easy. Luckily, I am a little bit coordinated. I've done this a lot. Not holding on to the camera though. Another thing about cutting hay this late in the year, as you can tell, there isn't much sun. Won't dry as quickly. However, you don't really need the sun to get it to dry. You need more wind than anything. The wind will do more to dry it out than the sun will. It can be sunny, yet a lot of humidity, and it won't dry as good. But if you have wind, you can dry it down. The other day when I cut hay, I figured it was going to be right around 30 to, well, it was around 30 to 35% when I raked it. And I have a rotary rake, it does a beautiful job, just fluffs it up. But I figured I could cut it down around 5 percentage points by using that rotary rake, and because that it was windy out. And when I baled it, the highest percentage I had was right around 30%. For a round bale, that's not a big deal. You set them outside, you let them cure, you let nature take its course. Some people put a preservative on it. I don't do the preservative. Some of my hay customers don't like the preservative, which I can understand. I do not use it. It's not exactly cheap to put it on or to use it. I can't remember how much it costs per gallon. But I don't use preservative. Try to be a little more as natural as possible. It's just my way, it doesn't make it right or wrong. Everyone has their own way of doing things. Just because one person does it one way, it doesn't make it wrong or right. It just makes it their way. and everyone is different, unique in how they farm, unique in how they do things. There'll be a lot of people that'll do a foghorn, leghorn routine on you, saying you're doing it all wrong, you're doing it all wrong, and we probably are, but it's that individual's way, not foghorn, leghorn's way. Well, we're almost done with this field. We're going to go to the next, and I will see you there. This field here hasn't been used for many years. Dad used to farm it, but it was so rocky, so full of lime rock, that it just was not worth it. So we put it under pasture, and we let the cattle out here, let them graze it till a few years ago, and then the buckthorn started to take over. And you can see a little bit of a pile of buckthorn and all kinds of brush and trees right there. Kind of took over. So it's been 40 years basically since a tractor has really been up here to do anything. The Bobcat's been up here obviously, but not the tractor. And it is left in the same condition as when Dad farmed it. He used to use the moldboard plow. Some of you aren't going to know what a moldboard plow is. I do have a picture of one, but I'm going to ask you just to Google it and you can figure it out. And that was basically the main tillage implement everyone used. Then they progressed into using other things. So when we're going to drive on this, we're going to find spots that are rough. There's going to be dead furrows. For those of you who aren't in farming or agriculture, basically that is a rut. So we're going to go rather slow, and I think there's a couple of rocks here, so I'm going to have to try to dodge them, hopefully, because I don't want to wreck anything. It would really be a bummer to wreck something just for prairie grass, but we'll give it a try. So here we go. used to slide down this hill when we were kids. And yes, there was a barbed wire fence at the bottom of the hill that we had to duck under. All three of us made it. We're alive today. Probably wouldn't recommend that for anyone else nowadays, but we did it, because back in the day, that's what you did. Kids went out and they had fun. Nowadays, I think we're probably a little too protective of our kids. I wouldn't want my daughter to go down here unless I was standing here in case anything went wrong. Mom and Dad didn't care. They just kicked us out of the house and said go for it. I just wanted to let you see the view, and it is pretty, especially with all the fall colors and everything. Everyone, I just have a little bit of hay to cut yet. Two more passes, one more pass, whatever it is, and we're gonna call it a day. I don't know what time it is, no idea. It's getting kind of late. I can see the sun starting to come down. So what I'm going to do is finish this, and then I'm going to have a little bonfire. I haven't had one yet this fall, which is unusual for me because I usually always have a bonfire. So I'm going to have a little bonfire down by the lake, charge up all the batteries on the cameras and all that. Maybe give you guys a little parting shot of the fire at night. We'll see how it goes, or maybe at dusk. That might be a little bit better. Probably hear some geese and ducks in the background. Whatever. We'll see what comes of it. Okay, thank you everyone. And please hit the subscribe button if you like it. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't matter. And also please leave your comments. Greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone. Bye.